making some actions here. So the first action I'm going to be making, create, I'm going to call this T-pose. That's basically going to hold this basic pose we've got. The next action is going to be for, let's say, idle. This is an idle pose. Okay, and this will be the good point to get our first Mocap file in here. So let's go for the Mocap. So to do that, we go to Palettes, Setup, Create from BVH, and this is going to be just an idle. I've got these from the what's his name site, Mixamo. So you can see that's loaded in there. We can just we won't close it down, we'll just move it off screen. The next stage is we just need to set the hips, and then we just need to click one by one through these icons. So this one resets the T-pose for both characters. This one here activates the retargeting, and click no for a map, and then you'll see that it does a pretty good job so far. The next one here will find any more points which are not connected, and then the next one will bake it. And it automatically determined that it's requiring 120 frames, so we'll click OK and we'll go with that. Not sure whether the suggestion is limited on how many frames I've currently set in the scene. I'm not sure if that's the case, but this is our idle pose. The beauty about this is that we can do some adjustment to this, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. At frame 0, I'm just going to grab that, rotate the hand down and in, set a keyframe for it. I'm then going to push that to the other side. No, I'm not going to push it to the other. You can mirror push it, but I'm not going to do that, purely because it's not the same kind of pose the other side. Okay, and I'm going to set a keyframe for that. So if there's anything that I don't like about the pose, I can go in there and I can adjust it. So what I'm going to do, even though he's obviously quite relaxed there, I want to just adjust that shoulder a little bit. I'm going to set a keyframe there. We should have set it. There we go. Got no pop in or anything like that going on. Only thing is he's not placed on the ground. I'm not sure why that is the case. It could be the fact that the hips didn't have its position point at the feet. I believe if those position point was located at the feet, it wouldn't be a problem, but we can fix this later on. This is not something I'm going to undo now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the actions again. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to create a run layer. It puts it back to that T-pose. We have to make sure we select the man when we do this. It's the actual man we've got to create it for. Run. Then it goes back to T-pose. I'm going to delete the hips, which basically was the Mocap file, and then we're going to just go and create a new from BVH, and we will do a catwalk. Good job, this guy's got no particular gender. I call it guy, obviously he is a guy, but he needs to be a female now, because he's doing a very kind of feminine catwalk. So let's go to the next stage again. Select the hips, go for the process, and then go to the next stage, and then the next stage. It seems we've only got... He wants to bake that many frames, but in the settings I haven't got 300 and something frames there. So I'm wondering whether it's just going to limit how many frames it actually does bake, because I haven't got that many frames in there. So we're at 1 minute, we're at 1 hour 8 minutes into the video recording, and we've got quite a lot of done so far, which I'm really pleased with. We should have at least 400 frames really set up for this, and I believe that it's just going to run out at that frame range. Go to settings here, we should have 400 frames by now at least. Let's see if the rest of the frames are there. Yes, they are, so that's something, you know, to know. Now we've got the cakewalk going on here. The problem what we've got here is we've got twisting a little bit, overlapping with the feet by the looks of it. It probably is the way it was intended, but I'm going to go in there and change some things. Otherwise we're going to get some serious issues happening later on. So let's just go in there and just set these keyframes.
Give it! Thank you.
We don't want... Yeah, we don't want this to be happening. Looks like we've got some gimbal lot going on here. That's it. Now it's working off local orientation.
No, don't start dragging me into it.
Should have been setting keyframes for all of these. I believe I should be anyway. Okay, so I have to go and make some more key changes further up the animation. Okay, we can take a little bit of the feminine out of the walk. See how we go with that. Okay, we've got a problem there. Whoa. So the arm goes out, so it bends back. Okay, that's... I think we can go with that. So we've now got 3 layers here now. We've got run, idle and T-pose. Now what we can do is we can save this as a separate file, a project file, and this is the first one's rigging, the second one is Mocap, and then the third one in a minute is going to be baking that Mocap. So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We go up to the ACS, the character, and we click on bake. We click yes, and what it's going to do is it's actually going to create an extra file for us. within here. You see there, baked. And it's actually going to bake all of our animation layers. Idle, walking, and the next stage would be the T-pose, so we've got something to come from. The reason why we include the T-pose is because it's part of the process for Marvelous Designer. We're 1 hour 30 minutes into this now. It seems to be progressing quite well. And we can now move on to the next stage of bringing this into Cinema 4D, compiling the motion cap data, and then producing a high-res version of the animation for use in Marvelous Designer. So I'm going to pause this. I'll be back when this is back. Oh, it's done it. Okay, so it's done it. I'm going to get rid of the hips because the hips are to the mocap file. We don't need that no more. Another thing to check as well is that when you expand the hierarchy and you go to here, you only want to see one of these. This is basically the skinning tag that you would see in Cinema 4D, the normalizing in MODO. This is for weighting. And if you had went to the point of going through mixer mode and then bringing it into here to use its weighting, you'll see two of these. And once it's transferred into this rig, you would delete the mixer mode one, otherwise you wouldn't be able to export nothing. So now that I've got this, I'm going to select the man. I'm going to go to the actions and we're going to go to T-pose. We're going to export this as an FBX file. Staring right at me. MODO 902 only works with FBX 2013. Save it in here. This is the T-pose. Then we go to the idle. And then we go to the run, which isn't actually a walk. And that's it. We've got the baked version now. Let's just save that. We just play this back just quickly just to show you this. You see we've got this really nice motion cap that's been applied now on a very basic figure. Okay, so there's that one. Got a little bit of problem there. I didn't look, did I, to see if there's any problems a little bit further along down there. There clearly is. So we might have to. This is the beauty about this. You can go back to your previous versions. So this mocap, this is the version where it's rigged and it hasn't baked. So we can go down. The reason why we would need to fix this is not only because it looks bad, but because it's going to really get in our way when it comes to Marvelous Designer. So let's just keep his hand out. And away from the body. I think at this point we could even bring his hand a little bit closer to his body. So his arm goes back into itself again. Just move that away.
Nope.
Brilliant. Now I don't want to have to bake down all of those 3 again, but that's exactly what would happen if I let it do that. So what I do is I go to groups, and at the very top here I should expand it one of these groups.
No, I'm gonna stand for
And I'm pretty sure it's normally at the top.
it's fine. It's
Actions, there it is.
bring his iPad in front of
So
me.
T-pose, idle and run. The idle and the T-pose I'm going to delete because I don't want it to bake them. Now when we go to man and we go to here, we've only got the run. I just want to bake the run again. That's all I want to do. He is somewhat elevated higher than I wanted him, but there we go. So let's just bake this one again. ACS, character, bake. I'm not going to select yes this time to save in a baked version of the file because I've deleted the other 2. I don't want to lose the other 2 in the other file if it overwrites it. We should be good to go in a minute. And what we see is hopefully we've got ourselves a nice little cake file.
No one cares. Don't touch me.
So we're at 1 hour 20 minutes in. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to export this over the previous FBX for the walk-in, and then I'm going to see you in Cinema 4D.